Hi, everyone, and welcome to Brain Wellness, the podcast. This week, we have OT Shelley with us. So introducing Shelley here. With more than 20 years of experience as an occupational therapist in neurology, she spent the last 10 years growing her own private practice, adding yoga certification and nature therapy to her toolkit. Shelley lives an active outdoorsy lifestyle in beautiful British Columbia on the west coast of Canada, hiking, swimming, cycling, and spending time in nature. After her own concussion several years ago, Shelley struggled to find empowering support. She has since focused the past few years on designing a yoga-based concussion recovery program. So welcome, OT Shelley.
Thank you very much, Mandy, for having me here today. I'm excited to chat about brain health.
Thanks. And this is our first official interview, so thank you for being here for that as well. So to start us off, Shelley, if you could just tell us a little bit about what's your story? Why does brain health interest you?
Great question. Well, you heard a little bit about my OT story, my background in neurology and brain injury and neurodevelopmental disorders. So it's always been a very interesting topic to me to see how the brain changes with activity and intervention. But that's just part of my background. Then I have my personal story, which is sort of really piqued my interest in brain health because I was forced to find a way out of concussion. So in 2017, I was in a ski crash where I basically was trying out a different type of skiing and got a little overconfident being a downhill skier. So on these skis, I was on a steep downhill and basically caught some ice, flipped on my head, and no helmet because it's apparently a safe cross country. And yeah, got pretty much knocked out just temporarily, but thought that I was okay. Oh, I'm fine. I'll just ski down. And I came to realize that I was not fine. So that was my introduction to concussion. A whole bunch of problems ensued after that, that I really somehow had no idea what to expect, even though I knew I had worked in brain injury. So it was just a shocker to me. Then I just became susceptible to other knocks and concussions. I ran into trees when I was running. And I think now looking back, it was because my vision and my spatial awareness was off, but that led to a series of like similar to somebody who was going back into sports, right? And so anyway, I wasn't really able to find great education or care for concussion. So I didn't even know that my symptoms were common among other people with concussion, just because it's not really talked about. And so I had to deep dive myself. So that got my big interest in brain health and what I can do to fix essentially my brain. And even though I started looking outside for people to help me, I realized I had to search inside and do my own work and see what worked for me. So I love all things neuroscience. I love those podcasts. I love anything about brain health. I will just take it in and not take everything as the law or this is what works, but to put it in my toolbox and try it out. My third part, besides my OT story and my concussion story, is my mom's story, who had a mysterious series of TIAs in 2019. At the time, they thought it was encephalitis or something, but some sort of event with her brain, either TIAs or encephalitis. Anyways, she lost a lot of cognitive function. And since then, I've been not listening to people who said she's going to just go downhill. And I have been working with her on programs, exercises, activities, supplements to see if even though she's 82, what could change, what could reverse. And it turns out, yeah, they were kind of wrong. And the brain, we don't really know how the brain can repair itself, but the brain can repair itself. So that is my excitement I've seen in my clients, I've seen in myself, and I've seen in my mom. Just yeah, what how neuroplastic the brain really is. So that's why I'm so into brain health. Those are my stories.
That's a very powerful why. And that whole idea of neuroplasticity, it's fascinating. Having worked in the field of stroke for as long as I have as well, there's been just a ton of research on the field of neuroplasticity and how we can actually regenerate and regrow areas of our brain after brain injury, even at 80 plus years old. So it can happen. So that's
right.
Fantastic.
And people, when people tell you this is it, you're stuck with this, too bad, you're a post-concussed person now, or, oh, this child, has a disability, this is the way it's going to be. Or, oh, your mom is 82 and, she's just going to be left with dementia. That's just the way it is. And I just don't, if you know me, I just don't really take no for an answer.
Yeah.
So,
and
yeah.
I think so many more people should be, because we know what we know from textbooks and from research, but there are always cases that beat the odds. And just like age is just a number, our brain health is just a number as well. And the more we try to tap into that, the more we can improve it, even after we've been told that we can't. I see it time and time again. So it's
I love that.
Yeah.
I love it.
Why I love neurology.
Awesome.
So, yeah. So given your history and your injury, what are you doing personally to improve your own brain health?
I love this question. Gee, how much time do you have here? But so I do listen to a lot of podcasts, and so I don't want to sound cliche with the same answers as I hear. So I'm going to try and get creative and tell you what I do. A lot of the standard things, eat well, sleep well, avoid stress. Yes. But the truth is I do what works for me. So in my therapy and for myself and for my clients and my mom, I don't tend to use a cookie cutter approach, but I like to educate myself, try something, a treatment or a supplement or an exercise, and I'll try that one thing, that one change for a couple of months. And if it works for me, if I notice that my brain feels clearer, then that's what I keep in my program. So that's, rather than just getting overwhelmed with all the things you can do, I recommend, really trying one thing at a time and see what's actually working for you. So that's my big one. And to do that, you have to know your own body and mind well, period. So that's my second thing that's where my yoga comes in. So mind and body awareness. If you don't know your mind and body awareness, if you're not aware of what's going on in your mind and your body, then that part one, trying different approaches, is not going to work for you, because you might just try it and go, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to go to this visual therapy. Is it working? I'm not really sure. Well, because you don't have that awareness. So, or maybe you take a supplement. Yeah, I'm supposed to take this B12 or whatever. Is it actually working for you, or whatever it is? So knowing your own mind and body. And I love this part through my yoga. I find it's a chance for people to get on the mat and get to know their mind and body. So that's my first two. Do you have any questions of that? Because I'm going to keep going.
Well, I love that idea of taking one thing at a time. So many times in medicine, especially, we just kind of throw the book at people and then we don't know, was it X, Y, or Z that actually worked? So I love that. And I do the same thing with my patients too. Try this. If that's not working, we'll add something else. Because if you add too many different things at the same time, it's difficult.
Yeah. Then how do you know what's working?
What worked?
Right. Yeah, exactly. So I think, educate yourself, get what's recommended, and then really do try one thing at a time. I'm just a big fan of that. I also love, besides that and the mind and body yoga awareness, I also love fitness. I love fitness and sleep trackers. I love trackers. So I use just the Versa 3 Fitbit. Okay. But I know there's other ones out there. The Whoop and the Aura are on my list of ones I want to get. But I love trackers because that really makes me accountable for my fitness and my sleep. Yeah. So I feel like they're a great thing. It also keeps you aware of your heart rate. It keeps you aware of your breathing. And so these are healthy things. It all goes with the getting to know your mind and body. So I love the trackers, and then I love my brain supplements. And I do take a series of those. Again, tried them all one at a time. Now I know what works for me. I'll post that if anybody wants to see my list of supplements, if you want.
Sure, that'd be great.
And then I care a lot about the environment. So I find that it affects us as human beings, the environment we put ourselves in. So I personally need to be near nature, near plants, as you can see. I need to live near the ocean. It calms me, it grounds me to be in nature. So my big thing is I find that nature is excellent for my brain health. When I'm up at my cottage, my little cabin on an island, that's where I do the best recovery, just taking long, long walks. And then my very last thing would be my daily exercise fix. And I am a little bit of an addict because cardio truly clears my brain. So I combine that with nature, but I like to get my daily fix of cardio, even if it's only 15 minutes up to 4 hours, whatever it is. Run, hike, cycle, swim. I just need to get my heart rate up. And I literally feel that it's like a drug to me. So it just kickstarts the neurons. The same way like my cold swims do that too, but that's another tool. I've got a large list, but I've narrowed it down to those top ones. So I think that covers it. Those are my biggies.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Touch on the tracking, I absolutely love that idea as well. In working in neurology, I've always been a big thing. And my big thing that I deal with is headaches. And you don't know how to fix things until you have data. So you have to have that data. So tracking your sleep and your even stress levels, your heart rate, all of that is fantastic for getting information. Because again, you can't make a change until you have the data. So fascinating.
Yeah, that's so true, right? Like, how do you know what you need to change unless you have the data there?
Yep.
How do you know what your sleep is unless you really have a tracker on it?
Yep.
So
you can assume, you can make guesses, but until you have the data, you don't know for sure. So
and we're blessed with such great technology. Even though I'm sort of low tech generally with all my nature stuff, my high tech would be definitely my tracker. So
yes, absolutely. Supplements. So you said you have a bunch of different supplements. Do you have like a top 2 or your favorites?
I have a morning kickstart would be protein first, lion's mane coffee, and my ashwagandha. Those are my energy kickstarts. Which is in a mixed supplement, the ashwagandha, but those are my kickstarts for energy that helped me get through a concussion. Big time. And those are all like nootropics and natural minerals. Then bedtime, very simply magnesium tea, just get the powder, put it in my hot water. And then I add my sleep stack of GABA and L-theanine, and those are my sleep magic. And so so it's kind of like my energy kickstart and then my sleep magic. And I really try those supplements just kind of encourage how I want my day to go, and how if I want to follow the sun and the circadian rhythms of like, get up, do the morning routine and kickstart your energy and then wind down with the right supplements. So that's how I do it.
I love it. Love it. I love the nature part too. That's my happy place also. So I think we can be twinning on that one. Absolutely.
Right. It's so magical.
Yeah. And there's actually a lot of research too on grounding, just actually getting out and getting your feet in the dirt, in the grass.
Yes. I love that.
Oh, so good. So good.
I'm very much a summer person and love to be barefoot. And I think that is why you just feel good,
Yeah. Yeah. And in the northern atmospheres where we are, Minnesota and Canada here, we don't get as enough of that. So
I know we've stretched it this year, thank goodness.
Yes.
I'm just really enjoying this year. So this summer fall, I'm calling it.
It's a good one. I like it. All right. So kind of tapping onto that. So you have a lot of things that you do. Are there a couple things that you would recommend for our listeners, just simple things that they can add into their life to improve their own brain health as well?
Yes, definitely. There's a lot, but I won't tell you the list what everyone else has said because I want to get creative and come up with new stuff. So first one I sort of mentioned is what I do, but my first tip would be get into your body. So get into an activity where you're not thinking, but you're noticing. You're more in a flow state. So ideally for me, that's something physical and in nature. And if you add the exercise, then you're adding the endorphins, but you're getting into your body, you're getting into the activity, you're not thinking, you're noticing. And that just takes like the whole like hormone cortisol stress off the brain. And I feel like when you take that away and you just let that brain just be sensory and be letting it work without all that extra stress and too much thinking, that's where you can kick it with your brain health. So that's a big one. And the exercise endorphins go with that. So that's why I say do something active where you're not thinking and you're just doing. Yeah. Kickstart the hormones. So that would be my first one. And then the other would be you are what you put into your body, obviously. So eat clean and really get educated on supplements. Try one at a time what your body responds to, as I mentioned. So I really do eat clean. A friend was over here the other day. He opened our fridge and he's like, how does someone have that much greens in their fridge? I have sprouts, microgreens, kale, 2 types of kale, cabbage. It was like, I need a third veggie drawer because there's not enough veggie drawers in my fridge. But, I really do like to eat very clean. I feel good when I eat clean. And again, it comes back to, if you want to know your body, when you eat crap, you don't feel great. Your digestive system, your brain. I've had to really cut it on the gluten and sugar. Once in a while, I'll have a croissant, but I really don't feel good when I eat a lot of gluten and sugar or heavy foods or meat. I no longer eat. I'm now a pescatarian. So because I live on an island, I couldn't give up salmon. Plus it's so good for the brain, but I am plant-based eater other than the occasional seafood. So that is actually just made me feel amazing as well. So what you put into your body is important, and what you do with your body is important. And interestingly, those body things affect the brain.
Yeah.
So it's like you can work from a top-down approach on your brain as much as you want, but if you work from the body, that's when you're going to see results in your brain health.
Absolutely. So one of the things that I love is the idea of the gut-brain connection. And so the point of what you're putting into your body being important is absolutely true. If you are putting junk in your body, that junk is going right straight to your brain. So
exactly.
A lot of processed foods, a lot of sugars, things like that. It's going to affect your brain. If you eat whole foods, real foods, whether it be vegetarian, pescatarian, whatever kind of diet, as long as you're eating real foods, your body knows what to do with that. It breaks it down and you get the nutrients that you need so that your brain can function appropriately. So
it's so true. Yeah, it's incredible how much more clear-headed I feel. Like if I'm on vacation eating junk food or whatnot, I really notice it. I just don't feel the same energy, as when I know what I'm putting on. And I eat local foods too, local honey, local produce. And that just, you are what you eat. That's just been known forever and ever. And it's the total truth, right?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot less brain fog and all that. So absolutely. So very, very good tips. Thank you so much for those. And I'm sure we could go on forever. But next question, I kind of want to just see where you think the future of brain health is headed with all the tips that you've come up with even too.
Ooh, that's an exciting one. So it's definitely headed to alternative medicine for sure. Because I feel like we are just starting to learn about the brain, and suddenly there's neuroscientists everywhere. I mean, you never heard that before, all talking about the brain. Then I see brain supplements such as adaptogens. And I see all of those supplements coming before the prescriptions in the future. Even in traditional medical care, that's happening, which I'm so excited about. So I see kind of a fusion happening of alternative medicine and what do we call it? Western medicine. And both of them using that natural supplements first. You know, I had my dad's doctor finally mention magnesium, and I was like, oh, so now he'll finally take it because his doctor finally mentioned it after I don't know how many years I've been saying it, but no, he had needed the doctor to tell him. So it's like, I really, really want that to happen, you know, where Western medicine or just educates themselves more about the supplements and alternatives. And then I do see even things like exercise programs for depression. So maybe activities coming before prescription. I think that would be very exciting. And then finally, I see a lot more prevention and protection of the brain coming in the future. I am hoping for touch football. I don't know, but I really feel the future is going to hold. I mean, look, when we were children, we didn't wear seatbelts and we didn't wear bike helmets, right? And horse helmets and whatnot. And so now that's changed and there's more prevention there, but I see it just to keep going forward because now we know that helmets is only part of the issue. It's those hits and jolts that, you know, boxing and football and whatnot can give you. And why are we doing this to our human race? You know, I feel strongly about that. So prevention and protection of the brain in whatever ways we can, with maybe preventative supplements, sports measures changing. So that's kind of how I see a lot of changes for the brain in the future, because really we're just starting to untap what we know.
Yeah, those are some pretty big changes. So
yeah, they are.
Quick, there's going to be a lot of lobbyists fighting against those, I'm sure. But
I know they're pretty optimistic.
Things that we need. Yeah, they are all things that we need. So right. Very cool. Very cool. So I know you're very busy. You've been working on your yoga program. So can you tell us what you're up to with that program and others, and what projects you're working on?
Yes, I can. Well, I am really, first of all, enjoying this beautiful summer fall. And so I find it hard to stay inside with all the sun. So I'm like drawn to it like a flower. So I have been doing lots of outdoor breaks, biking and cycling, and running and cycling this fall, which has been amazing for my brain health. And interestingly, I do play a lot, but it gives me energy to work. So if I just stay in and work on my projects and work on the computer, it drains me personally. So I really need those little outings and breaks and play to energize my work. And the more I can balance it, the more successful I am. So I've been truthfully really busy on my career, focusing on launching, as you mentioned, my first online program for post-concussion recovery. And it's a 12-week yoga and occupational therapy based program for people who are stuck in lingering concussion symptoms for more than 2 months. And this is actually a larger population than we realize. Like, there's something like 20 to 30% of people don't actually fully recover from concussion within that sort of 6-week period that they should. The brain holds on to these mismatches and chemical upset and patterns in the nervous system, and you become stuck in some of the symptoms. And so I hope that people are finding a good assessment for their concussion when they're at that stage. There's more and more happening out there through a vestibular physio or chiro team or someone that works with concussion. So I would recommend that. And then my program, what's so great about it, I think, is that you can then work from home on the skills that are going to the tools that are going to help get you out of that stuck in the symptoms. And so we do that through movement on the yoga mat. You'll be experiencing all the different movement that will help you recover from neck, vision, vestibular, all of the different symptoms. And then there's the mental health piece, helping you get your mindset right for recovery. And it's very closely coached. There's Zooms every Friday, lots of journaling exercises, lots of videos to watch. And I'm really, really excited to launch this November. I'm looking for my first 5 clients right now. And I'm putting the program all together online. And I just can't wait to help other people. Because I tell you, if I would have had this when I was concussed, I mean, I would have signed up if it was $10,000, really, because I had nothing and I was searching. And it's hard to search when you're concussed. You're kind of overwhelmed. And the more people threw more ideas at me, it actually was more overwhelming. So to have one person coach you and to just give you the tools that work, and it's not just another person who's had a concussion, it's a person with the education and background. I am a certified yoga instructor, and I am an occupational therapist with a lot of experience in neurology. So, as well as being a person who's experienced post-concussion syndrome. So, I'm going to guide you in the right way. And I think that's important, that people with post-concussion aren't just scrambling, trying this and that. They just need some guidance and the right tools. And I think they can, in an empowered way, work themselves out of it. So that's what I'm up to, my big program.
I can see that being really, really helpful for people, especially when we're still kind of dealing with COVID issues and people can't get into therapy. Getting access to that where they can do it from home, I think would be a fantastic way to get people in, hopefully a little bit sooner than they can their normal therapy ways.
Exactly. Or if they live rural or they don't want to drive or whatnot. Yeah.
Yep. I live in a fairly big suburban area, and we do have a couple different concussion programs that people can go to, but if you're out farther, it's really hard to get in there. And a lot of people don't like to drive. And after you've had a concussion, driving is not always the easiest thing to do either, because that's very overstimulating. So
exactly.
I can see it being really, really, really helpful. So I wish you all.
Yeah, I'm really excited. So please do share and pass that on. And the great thing about online is I can work with anybody anywhere.
Yep, that's perfect. So they don't just have to be in BC; they can see anywhere.
That's right.
Yeah,
I'll share them some nice nature shots, and we'll take some dips in the ocean together anyway. But
I did want to quickly touch too on you mentioned that needing to just mix in all that fun time with your work. And that is huge too. People think that you can just kind of truck through and get your projects done, but your brain taps out after a while. So you absolutely need that time away from your computer, away from your project. It will actually make you more productive in the end. So I'm glad you figured that out.
That is so great, Mandy. Like, I think if you can schedule those breaks in your day and work it so that you work part-time each day, and not big long hours. I mean, I hope that in the future we will be like Denmark and adopt the 4-day work week and the shorter days. And, because really, your productivity, they've proven people who work an 8-hour day, they're probably only productive about 4 hours of it, maybe 5, 6 at the max. So we need to play more, we need to play and exercise and then recharge the brain.
Absolutely.
And balance it out.
Absolutely.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you work long hours, I believe, don't you?
Oh my gosh, way too long.
So you need to do those little nurse dance breaks that I see on TikTok.
I know, right?
And on your breaks or whatever. But it's hard. I mean, in some jobs you are stuck with long hours, but if you can work some breaks in there, that would be good.
Yep. And being in the hospital, there's not a lot of time for nature, but as much as I can, I try to get out there, because that's, again, my happy place too. So very much needed.
Awesome. Awesome.
Well, thank you so much, Shelley. You had a lot of information for us today. Anything else you want to add before we wrap up here?
No, I think that covers sort of my story and who I am. You can certainly find me on, I'm easy to find. My website is OT Shelley. My Facebook is OT Shelley, and Instagram OT Shelley, and it's with an EY. little bit old school, but it looks good. And yeah, that's where you can find out about me, the programs I offer, and learn more on my blogs about some of these topics. And yeah, so thank you so much.
Perfect. Thank you. Awesome. Good luck on your project and hope to hear from you soon.
Thanks so much. Have a great day, Mandy. Bye-bye for now.
Bye for now. Thanks.
Okay, bye.